Hey everybody, welcome to Airsoftology Mondays, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and also has been doing a lot of giveaways here lately, which is a good thing, right? I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs, and welcome back. Another huge show, like I say every week, full of great questions this week. As always, you guys are awesome down there, and a contest. And I'm gonna go ahead and kick off the contest because I know that's what you guys are really here for. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you knew I was gonna be doing a contest this week. If you didn't follow me, I'd love to have you over there. I have a link to my Instagram channel, I think below every single video. So just hit it up. Or if you guys just wanna do it, it's Airsoftology over there on Instagram. You can find me, hit the old follow button. And I try to keep it up to date with pretty cool stuff, gun pictures, things like that, and some special things like this. So the giveaway this week is coming from Epik Panda. And if you guys watch the patch panel, I'm gonna try to move out of the way behind me. I always have something Epik Panda back there. I'm a big patch collector. And I always try to move them over here to the corner so you guys can see them. This week, he sent me 2 sets of his new Modern Warfare bears, his combat battle Panda bears here. And these things are freaking awesome. Every new version of patches that come out, he does a better and better job. If you guys didn't know this, he does them for like, he has like a Bob the Axeman Panda patch. He's got one for Greg Wong. So he does some really cool stuff. And we're gonna be giving away these 5 bears. And I heard you guys from last time, a lot of you spoke up and said, Jonathan, I don't have social media aside from YouTube, so I'm not gonna make that a requirement. I'll make this super easy. Going forward with our contests, all you're gonna have to do is be signed up for the Airsoftology newsletter. Something new I'm kicking off just this week, and I have it over on the website. So it's airsoftology.com/contests will be our current running contest page. I'm gonna try to keep more and more contests for you guys because I know everybody loves free stuff. I love free stuff. So I know you guys love free stuff. So I'll have that as our ongoing contest page. You can see what's going on, the special deals, things like that as well. And if you sign up for the newsletter, which I'm not gonna beat you up with like a million emails a day, I'm gonna send out about once every couple weeks an update of what's going on here, behind the scenes links for videos, things that you can't normally get on this channel just for you guys who are signing up for the newsletter. But also, if you're signed up, you're automatically in the running for every contest we're doing from then on out. So yeah, head on over airsoftology.com/contests, or just go to airsoftology.com, look at the very top of the website, and there'll be a little bar up there to sign up for the newsletter. Once you put your email in, hit the submit button, that's it, you're done. You're in the running. I'll be contacting you by that email, so make sure if you guys get a new email, you change it to go and actually update your email, like put in your new one in there. But yeah, make sure that is valid because that is how I'll be handling any communication back and forth with you on getting your address to ship product out and things like that. But good luck to everybody, and I'm trying to make this contest thing, it's still kind of new, I'm still hammering out, but I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you. So some lucky person's winning a whole set, all 5 of these patches. In fact, I'll probably throw in like that Epik Panda patch back there too, the one with his logo patch, to make it a nice rounded 6 for you, and good for anybody, anywhere who's watching this video, unless your country doesn't allow contests for whatever reason. But that aside, it is time to drive on into what you're here really for, and that is your questions. Preston Props writes, hey John, always love your videos. What do you think of airsoft guns with the price tag of $800 and up? Paying for quality performance or just the company's name? All right, so this was our #1 question this week with the thumbs up. It was huge, so I was really kind of surprised to see this one get voted up so much. So my thoughts on it are, at a certain point, there is some value to them. For example, I have a system of PTW. You get a lot out of spending that extra money for a gun like that. Also for special limited editions, I think it's pretty cool if you've got the funds. I mean, it is a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, $800 for an airsoft gun is a ton of change. I mean, my system I bought used, like in pieces and fixed it. It was less than that. But like some of the new ones are like $2,000, I think, or over $2,000 for an American system of PTW, or the upcoming G28 from the HK G28, kind of like a DMR sniper type rifle from Elite Force/Umarex. So those are, I think, gonna be $950 for the special edition. And I think the standard one's gonna be like $700 or $750 in US dollars. So that's a lot of money. That's a ton of money. I think it's neat because it's very unique, and I think the players that want that specific rifle are going to jump on it, but it's definitely not for everybody. I mean, for me to own something at that level, buying it retail at that, probably not going to happen for me. Even if I had unlimited funds, there's so many great guns out there in that $300 to $350 range. There's some great guns in the $200 range. So it'd be really tough for me to go, okay, well, I'm going to make my first airsoft gun or my main airsoft gun a $900 gun. And if you have a huge collection, you're a collector and you've got infinite funds, sure, go for it. But otherwise, I think, you know, you've got a lot of great choices you have to pass up before you jump to that. Like I could name, I'm looking around my room right now, I can look here and pretty much every gun I'm looking at behind the camera is all around $300 to $200. Some are like maybe right at $400, like sport weapons, but that's about the most expensive one I have sitting around the room. That and the Evo over here, that's about $450 retail. So moving to $800 is kind of tough to swallow. General Crazy writes, after dumping a few mags with my AG, my nickel metal hydride batteries get warm. I was wondering if this is normal or something wrong with the gun. Nope, totally normal. In fact, they're gonna get warm when you charge them, they're gonna get warm when you use them. That's actually very normal, especially if you're doing a lot of full auto fire and pulling a lot of energy from that battery in one short session. But yeah, on nickel metal hydrides, they do get actually at the point sometimes pretty darn warm to the touch, almost hot. And that's in the charging and in the discharge, but nothing to worry about. That is normal, especially if you're new to airsoft, you're not familiar with all the things that are gonna be getting hot. That can happen and your motor can get warm too. So just wanna kind of wrap that one up in this question. I know I've brought that up or answered that in a previous Monday show here, but yeah, both of those, because they're using electricity and you know there's a lot of drain happening, it's very common for your battery or your motor to get hot during heavy use. Kemp de Wolf writes, hey John, is it bad to use BBs that came with my gun? Thanks for answering. You mean these little guys right here? Actually, for most guns, it's probably okay, to be honest. These came with a gun I got from Red Wolf. Actually, I've come for review. It's actually the one right here behind me, this Nighthawk, custom Nighthawk, and this shipped in there. And just looking at them, they're definitely high quality BBs. Most of the brand name guns you're gonna get at an airsoft shop, the BBs that are gonna come with the gun are gonna be perfectly fine. If you're buying them like in a big box store, like an Academy Sports, Walmart, or whatever your big box store is in your area, then maybe not. It really depends on the brand. I'd probably chuck those. But if you're getting something like an Elite Force gun, you're getting an ESG gun, you're getting Classic Army, an Echo 1, you're getting a Crytac, you're getting any of those, you're gonna have pretty darn good BBs in there and they're perfectly fine to use. Chances are they're all gonna be 0.2 gram BBs, so, and you only get like, probably in this case, maybe 100 or so. So it's good for like a pistol, just to kind of plink around or to test your gun right when you get it, especially if you ordered it in versus going to an airsoft shop and picking one up. But yeah, if you wanna use them, go right ahead. There's no harm as long as it's a good gun. DM Airsoft 23 writes, do you think the new G&G line of combat machines are a huge step up? And if so, which is your favorite? I'm planning on getting one, but can't decide which. Actually, I just finished a review on the new combat machine CM16 SRL. It's their new one with the actual electronic trigger in it. And the MOSFET and everything. And you know what? They're pretty darn solid. If you guys are interested in seeing the review, I'll put a link. If you guys are on mobile, I'll have a mobile link up here or a link down in the description below as well. So you can just click it and follow on over to check it out if you guys want to see what I thought of it and all the changes that are with the new combat machines. Don't want to give away too much, but definitely a huge, huge step up from last season's combat machines. HZ Bacon to Huge writes, hey Jonathan, I have two questions for you. One, my sniper rifle is shooting too far to the right and can't adjust my scope for it anymore. What should I do? And you forgot your other question, but that's okay. I'll answer this one. And in your case, if it's shooting very straight and linear off to the right, a couple things you want to look at there. One, make sure your upper rail or the scope rings you have mounted on there are actually straight. You know, sometimes your scope can be not straight, or the rail that your scope is mounting to on top of your sniper rifle might not be straight. Look at kind of loosening the screws, make sure everything's straight on there. Use a ruler if you have to, or something that has a straight edge to see if it follows. A yardstick is fantastic to see if the barrel that runs out and your rail, you can kind of set up against your rail to see if they both are kind of straight at the end of your rifle. Those are one thing to look at. Like I said, your scope rings, you might not have the rings on right, right? So when you mount a scope, you've got the two rings. There's one in the front, one in the back, and if you twisted them a little bit, they could fit on there a little odd. So, you know, you might just be enough to barely kind of make it all a little bit out of whack, and they may not be able to tighten all the way down because of it. Now, if you can tighten them all the way down where they clamp perfectly, then that's definitely not the case. But if they're a little loose and they're kind of tight and they're torqued in there, that'll also throw off your scope just a hair. And it doesn't take much if you're looking at long distance shooting to have your scope off. All those things aside, if it's kind of got a curve when it goes out, check your hop-up bucking. That's typically it. The bucking is either torn on one side or the nub maybe a little off center, or it could be worn down on one side where it's causing the BB to fly off to that other side. So that's something to look at as well. Other things could be like debris in the barrel, things like that. Clean your barrel out really well, and that might be able to fix the problem as well. James Burrett writes, "Hey Jonathan, I love the show. My gas blowback pistol mag won't take any gas. Do you have any idea on how to fix the problem?" So it sounds like you have a bad fill valve, and there could be a couple things going on. There could be some debris down here in this fill valve. Also, on some of the mags, the fill valve is recessed really far down, especially on 1911s, like KWA 1911s and some other ones will have a recessed fill valve. And if you're using certain brands of green gas, the actual valve, the nozzle on the green gas can isn't long enough to reach all the way down there. So it sounds like you're kind of filling it, but you're not actually pressing this valve in to where it opens up and allows the gas to go inside of the mag. So one, make sure it's not one that's recessed. If you look at this one, I'm gonna try to hold it really close and maybe get it angled where it'll show up on the camera. You see there's very little distance. It's like just, you know, part of like a quarter centimeter or something between it and the top. So it's definitely not far down. So if you have something like this that's short, then I would look at inside of here, you probably have an O-ring that's jammed, gummed up, swollen, or flipped, what doesn't allow that center part of the valve to kind of spring down. When you press on it, it kind of springs open and allows the gas to shoot in. When you lift off, the valve jumps back up and seals back up for you. So if that's the case, it's probably just a fill valve, and they're pretty darn universal, and you can pick them up at most online retailers. You have to look around. They're typically under $10 to get them. Sometimes you can find them as cheap as like $3 or $4 a piece, depending on where to go. Worst case scenario, you can maybe try to rebuild this depending on the O-ring with some O-rings, but they are really small and really hard to find the right ones, and you have to really take this valve apart, which can kind of be a total pain. I've done it before to clean stuff out, but you end up kind of running the risk of damaging things, of disassembling one of these fill valves. So the best thing to do is try to find it. If it's a certain brand gun, like this is from a KWA mag, you can typically contact the manufacturer and get a replacement rather cheap. But that sounds like your problem. If it's not recessed too far in, definitely want to look at maybe replacing that fill valve. Well guys, that's it for questions this week, which means it's time for the Codered headsets video recommendation of the week. And this one is a cool one. I saw it a couple weeks ago and want to share it with you. If you probably have been around YouTube, you've probably seen this one pop up. Although I haven't seen it on my Facebook feed that much, so maybe you haven't seen it yet. Although it does have 1.5 million views on it, so the odds are pretty good. And this is Jedi with a GoPro. And being a guy who's really kind of starting to pick up his first-person video gaming, you know, actually going out and playing Airsoft, seeing something put together like this is really cool. Good graphics for obviously very low budget, and I love that he thought of this. No one's done this before. It's such a cool video. And being a Star Wars geek myself, I have a little soft spot on this. So yeah, if you guys are into something kind of cool, it's short, it's only a couple minutes long, really fun watch. It's Jedi with a GoPro, and you can find a link to the video down in the description, or I'll have one at the end card at the end of this video. Well guys, that is it for this show. As always, thank you so much for being here. And remember, if you guys want to get your question on the show, it's super simple. Put it in the comment section down below, vote up your favorites, and those will bubble up. I'll try to get it on the next show. Also, don't forget, I've got the patch giveaway going. Remember, you gotta head over to airsoftology.com/contests to enter. And if you already signed up for the newsletter, don't worry, you're already in the running. And make sure you have a valid email address in there, because that's how I'm gonna be contacting you to get your address and mailing information. So make sure you put a real one in there, and not like your neighbor's email or something like that. So yeah, Epik Panda patches will be given away, and next week you got till Sunday to get that in. And again, like I said, don't unsubscribe, because once you're in for every contest going forward. Well guys, again, thank you so much. Oh, one more thing, speaking of patches, almost out of these guys. I don't like hawking my stuff too much here on the show, but heads up, I've got about 60 or 50 of these left. I gotta count all the way down to figure out how many, but they're getting really low. Out of the 1,000 I had, we're down to that. After that, probably gonna hold off on doing the yellow for a while. So if you've been waiting to get a yellow patch, now is the time. Check it out, it's airsoftology.com/store, and it helps fund this show. It helps keep it free for you guys, which is awesome. Everybody orders a patch, you're supporting the show, which I love so much. Well guys, that is it. Like I said, I will see you next week, but until then, go out, have some fun, play some Airsoft, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.